Next up, we've got queries. So to do that, you'd go to create, you'd create a query from query design, select the tables, and then whichever fields you want to keep in your query. In this case, I'm going to go with title, first name, last name, yacht, I don't know, name, deport. I don't know why it set length there, but we can just get rid of that real quick. And then we're going to go for depart port, sorry. And let's go with the number of days afterward. Where's the days? Should be here, right? It's in bookings, right? And then days. So this is basically sort of a query to show us from which we can generate a report of the different bookings. So whenever you're making a report, you got to go through queries first in order to get the criteria for that report. So if I were to demonstrate numerical criteria with the days, we can go for, let's say we want days greater than 10 or greater than or equal to 10. So it'll give us, we want records with days that are greater than or equal to 10 over here. We can also choose days that are smaller than 10 or smaller than or equal to 10. And then we can do something completely different and we can go not 10 at all. So these are days that aren't 10. Any fields that don't have 10, any records that don't have 10 as their number of days. For text-based criteria, it's a little bit different. Usually, you can put the criteria straight away. So if I were to put my first name, or let's say the title to be Mr., okay? So straight up, it's only going to give me records with records where the title is Mr., right? But there's also like and not like. So if I were to put like in here, from here, what I can do is I can say I want all of the records where there is an H in the name. So I'm going to hit *H*. The star here is called a wildcard, and it's used to represent the remainder of the name or the remainder of the piece of text in that field or record. So if I were to hit like *H*, that means any name with H in it. If I were to hit like *H, then that means that that's any name, okay, that ends with H, because the remainder, the star which represents the remainder of the text, comes before the H. Then finally, if I were to hit H*, then that would mean any name that starts with H. Finally, when it comes to criteria, last thing, I want you to make sure that whenever you're entering criteria, if you don't already have two criteria for your field, for a singular field, make sure that you copy the criteria into the criteria section over here, or as well. So I can put like, okay, H here and like H here, because otherwise it's going to consider like H to be one criteria and no criteria at all to be the other criteria. So it's going to translate all of the records into your report regardless. And then last thing we want to look at when we're doing queries is how to make formulas in queries. They're a lot like Excel formulas, except with field names being between square brackets instead of cell names. So let's say I wanted to calculate the total cost for the trip by multiplying the number of days from the days field into the day rate from the day rate field. So first of all, I put the name for the field. Here it'll be total cost, okay? Then I'm going to put colon. I'm going to open my brackets. I'm going to put a square bracket over here, days, okay? Now that represents the days field. Then I'm going to put the star. When it comes to formulas, stars represent multiplication, slashes represent division, and then your plus and minus obviously represent addition and subtraction. And then I'm going to multiply that into our day rate. Make sure you type in the field correctly to avoid any sort of issues. Okay, you want to type in the field with the correct capitalization in all cases. All right, and now we're going to close off our bracket and we're done. We're going to press enter. It's already going to show up, and then we can go to our view. You can see the total cost is calculated here along with, it's in the right format already. If you wanted to change the format, you can again go to design view, select that field and change the format from here, but it's already in the correct format. We have our total cost, 10,000, 43,000, 44,000, and so on. And it's also, again, given us all of the names that contain H in them. As you can see, there's only 228 records. We're done here. We can start generating our report. So we're going to go to create report. Yes, we want to save the query. Okay, and here is our report. There's a couple things you want to be able to do in your report. You want to be able to change the amount of space per field. You want to be, which is just basically dragging and dropping from layout or design view. You want to delete certain things and add certain things, such as change the title. So from here, bookings with H in the name. Okay. Get rid of the Q over here. Not meant to be there. All right. Get rid of this. Another thing that you will obviously need to know is in design view, your page footer and your report footer. So for page footer, that's going to be there in every page of your report, such as your candidate details. You're going to want to enter it here. And in your report footer, things at the end of the report, such as the number of people in the report, the number of bookings in our case, the number of records in our report, or other formulas, which I will get into later. I'm going to go back to home momentarily. We're going to go back to layout view, and I'm going to show you how to set sorts. So we're going to go to group and sort over here, okay? And we're going to add a sort, right? Let's say we wanted to sort by the number of days in ascending order. So we're going to put days, okay? Over here, it's already in ascending order. And then we wanted to sort by first name in descending order. So we put Z to A. Z to A is descending order when it comes to names, where Z represents 28 and A represents 1. Just keep that in mind. That vice versa, obviously. We're going to close this here, and we can see that it has already been sorted. So if we go back to our number of days, as you can see, it's in ascending order, and here it is in reverse alphabetical order. As you can see, it's descending, right? Last thing we want to cover when we have tabular reports here is you want to go to design view, and you want to be able to add formulas at the end of your report. So let's say I wanted the average cost for all of our trips. I'm going to go to my total cost field over here. I'm going to click it in the page header, right? Because that represents the field name. Then I'm going to go to report design totals, and I'm going to select whichever one I want. In this case, it's average. It's going to give me average total cost. We can go over here and set its format. So we can put it as currency with 2 decimal places. Okay. We can make this a little bit bigger to give it the space it needs. Okay. Right. You'll need to expand this just to show the formula for your evidence document, but it should fit regardless. And then we can come over here. It's in our page footer, by the way. Our report footer. So it'll show at the end of the report. And over here we have our average cost for the trip as shown in our design view in the report footer. It'll show up at the end of the report. And you can do this with any other formula so long as you select it from the page header. It'll automatically calculate it. You don't even have to calculate sometimes they'll ask you for the number of records. You don't have to calculate that either because it's here already, equals count star. It'll show you the number of records entirely. Okay. Next up, we want to be able to look at tabular reports. Columnar reports. A tabular report is a report that shows you all of the records, while columnar reports will show you the records one record at a time. So the last thing we need to know how to do is how to make columnar reports. So to go about that, you'd go to create report wizard over here. You're gonna select your fields. For this one, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna select all of them. Hit next. Do you want to add any grouping levels? No. We don't want to sort it, and then we're going to select columnar over here. Then you can hit finish, and you're going to get a columnar report. So a tabular report would show you all the records, while a columnar report goes about showing you one record at a time.